Oh my god, Ninja Zombie Power Rangers! This show is friggin' awesome! Ladies and gentlemen and others, welcome to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3. Season 3 opens on the planet Edenoi, where Alpha was originally built. Count Dragon has enslaved the populace in footage that looks even older than the Zeo Ranger stuff used for Season 1 of Power Rangers. The opening 3 episodes are called A Friend in Need, which serves kind of as a pilot for a Power Rangers-like show called Masked Rider. Like Power Rangers, it used Japanese footage with American actors. It only lasted a year, and all in all, wasn't exactly anything to write home about. The show, when released, pretty much removed any references to Power Rangers, mostly because at the time, Power Rangers' ratings were starting to decline. What gets me is that Saban apparently has a library of background music that they sometimes reuse. The music used in these 3 episodes I'd later hear in the dubbed version of Digimon. Don't get me wrong, I actually really like the music. It's just I keep hearing it and expecting Myotismon to suddenly attack. Speaking of the music, I need to quickly cover 2 things that I failed to cover in the last 2 videos. First, Ron Wasserman. Wasserman was the composer for the series' most memorable tunes, both in fight scenes and the original Go-Go Power Rangers theme. While he didn't compose the music for every season, almost every time he did over the course of the show's run, you'd still be guaranteed something catchy and exciting. Also, a parallel that I didn't really think of until recently. There's kind of a Wizard of Oz thing going in the first season. Rita's voice actress, Barbara Goodson, was originally told to go for a Wicked Witch of the West voice. And who is the enemy of the Wicked Witch? The Wizard, a giant, ghostly head with purportedly incredible powers. And what was Zordon first described as? Yep, a wizard. Anyway, Alpha is depressed because he received a distress call from Edenoi. Zed is also observing this attack and laments the fact that Count Dragon has been successful in pretty much conquering Edenoi, and yet he and Rita continue to have problems with Earth. The 2 are apparently rivals, which explains why they never mention him after this 3-parter. The Rangers want to know if they can help, save for Kimberly, who is stuck in bed sick. Zordon lets them go to Edenoi, but warns them that the greater distance might mean that their powers may not be at full strength. Not that that will actually make a difference. After a brief misunderstanding with the Masked Rider, the groups get together and reveal their identities to each other. The Masked Rider is Prince Dex, and boy, hearing him speak just makes me realize how much has changed with the Rangers. In the early days, their acting wasn't all that great, but they got better over time. Dex just sounds really silly when he talks, kind of like he's not sure whether to take his dialogue seriously or not. Anyway, they fight some Masked Rider villains and they leave. They go back to Earth and fight a monster, a repaint of another monster they fought in Season 2, and oh my god, new Zord footage! It really took them 3 damn seasons to finally get the suits, and it's such a nice change of pace. Sure, the sparks that explode off aren't what you normally see in the Sentai footage, but like I care, it's new! With Dragon heading to Earth in pursuit of the Rangers, Dex is sent to Earth for his spin-off that will never mention the Power Rangers again, despite the fact that we now have 2 colossally evil forces trying to enslave mankind. A Friend in Need isn't a strong start to the season. It is best just skipped over for the 4-parter that actually details the next evolution of the show, Ninja Quest. Rito Revolto, Rita's brother, arrives at the palace with a number of eggs and promises to deal with the Power Rangers. Rito's an idiot through and through, but he's roughly on par with Goldar in terms of power levels, and he leads a bunch of monsters down to confront the Rangers. Meanwhile, Bulk and Skull, having given up on finding out who the Rangers are, Skull in particular seems sick of their constant failure, overhear two girls talking about how they love men in uniforms. Seeing an ad for the Junior Police Patrol, they announce to the shock and amazement of the juice bar that they plan to join them, obviously with the intent of picking up women. I'll get more into this when we talk about their development this season. Really, this is just surprising because it's a shock to learn that police even exist in Power Rangers. So Rito fights the Rangers with the monsters, doing serious damage to the Zord's systems. Alpha tries to boost their energy, but the technobabble What's-It does something and overloads, stripping them of their powers. Well, at least we have the Zord suits now, and we can still have original Zord fight. Well, crap. I will say that actually, seeing the Zords falling apart like this, with wires strewn everywhere and just falling to pieces, it's a pretty disturbing image, on par with the original Megazord getting sliced apart back in Season 1. The command center is pretty trash too, and it's clear there's no way to restore their powers. Adam asks where the powers originally came from, and Zordon explains that, according to legend, the power coins were originally forged by an entity named Ninjor, who created them and the Zords to be used as tools in the fight against evil. Alpha says that they also found a map through the Desert of Despair where Ninjor's temple is supposed to be located, along with the power coins. This is really an interesting premise, that Zordon didn't create the power coins, and that they were actually found by him and Alpha. While they know an awful lot about them and how they work, they might not know everything about them. This could be very useful down the road when we reach certain episodes where they use the old powers again, but we'll get to that when they come. The Rangers travel to the Desert of Despair, which looks exactly like the desert outside the command center. I wonder if Zordon was just screwing with the Rangers when he said it may only be a myth and that they knew exactly where the temple was. Zordon just wanted to get back at them for wrecking his stuff. The eggs on the moon hatch, and they're revealed to be Tango warriors, giant crows that are apparently fierce warriors. Personally, I thought the putties were more intimidating, even if they started to become a bunch of really disturbing interpretive dancers near the end of their tenure. The Rangers wander the desert, losing the map to a fire thanks to the dangers of the area, until they come upon the rocks where Kirk fought the lizard in Star Trek. The Tengas attack, and apparently losing their powers also made them lose their martial arts skills, since they put up a pitiful defense against the birds before finding the entrance to the temple. The Tengas are too big to fit through, and obviously too dumb, since all they'd need to do is turn to their sides to get in, but for plot convenience, that's what you got. The Rangers travel through a tunnel until reaching the temple of Ninjor itself. They find Ninjor inside of a bottle, and it turns out he's voiced by Dudley Do-Right.
I am the great Ninjor!
No! Ninjor at first refuses to help, but Tommy makes a little speech about how they'll still fight even without their powers. Remember this for a future installment. It helps show why the Mighty Morphin era, cheesy and idiotic as it may be sometimes, is often more beloved. This is, of course, a test, and he grants them ninja powers, since, of course, ninjas wear bright yellow or blue. Well, I suppose they do look cool at the very least. They're also assigned new animal Zords.
Where before your power came from the brute strength of the dinosaurs, now it comes from the swift, intelligent cunning of the ninja.
Rocky is given the Ape Zord, Aisha the Bear Zord, Billy the Wolf Zord, Kimberly the Crane Zord, Adam the Frog Zord,
I'm a frog,
and Tommy the Falcon Zord. And of course, they kick ass with their ninja powers and suits, but then they morph into their old costumes. Seriously, what the hell? Give them new helmets at least. Did you blow the budget on the ninja suits and the Zord suits that got destroyed only 4 episodes in? Also surprisingly, they decided to keep Titanus, the Ultra Zord I stupidly forgot to mention in the first season review, around this season and use the Ultra Zord with the Ninja Megazord, despite the fact that Titanus was from footage from a totally different Sentai. How do they accomplish this effect? They put the toys together, even though they don't look like the Zords from the Sentai footage at all. The ninja powers also occasionally granted them extra powers, like super speed, being hidden in the dirt, or swapping out their costumes for a fake. While they weren't often used, it was kind of a precursor to the civilian powers displayed in later series. However, the difference here, and why I'm fine with it in this instead of in those, is that they're still in a different morphed form. After a lengthy amount of filler episodes, the next major story arc begins with, believe it or not, a white cat. Aisha adopts the cat, but we quickly learn that Rita has plans for it. As the Rangers battle Rito, the cat transforms into a woman who watches intently. We also learn that Kimberly has been working hard on her gymnastics, which will pay off as a part of the story arc. The cat, named of course Cat or Catherine, is an Australian teen under Rita's spell. She goes to Tommy to begin this diabolical scheme.
Hi. wondering. I'm new here. My car's broken down outside and I really don't know what to do.
Certainly, mysterious girl who I've never met before whose eyes glow red. I'll take a look at your car, despite the fact that there's no way you can know that I'm in any way mechanically inclined, or that I could be of more use to your car than a mechanic. After such a clever ruse, the two get trapped in some sort of alternate dimension. While the other Rangers work to free Tommy using one of Billy's devices, Tommy morphs and fights Goldar and Rito. While they're able to free Tommy, Catherine remains under Rita and Zed's control, and the villains start working on long-term plans. This story arc has some really great moments, especially in later episodes. Also, I love the self-referential humor, like this bit.
What is it this time, Finster? A monster that blows itself up?
The next phase of the story comes in Changing of the Zords, where Finster reveals that he's discovered the location of a group of dormant Shogun Zords. He thinks that by combining the technology of the Ninja Zords along with these dormant Zords, Zed and Rita could have their own set of Zords to be used against the Rangers and Earth. No one points out that Zed really should just work on getting better batteries for Serpentera, since the thing's still more powerful than the Rangers' Zords, but whatever. Also, one wonders where exactly these Zords came from originally. Rita orders Cat to steal one of the Rangers' power coins so they can gain access to the Ninja Zord technology. During an attack by the Tengas, she steals Kimberly's power coin, causing her to start losing her powers and her strength. Cat also starts falling for Tommy, her jealousy of Kim's relationship with him helping fuel her actions. During an attack by Goldar, Cat steals the Falcon Zord and Ninjor is abducted by Zed to be used as the power source for the new Zords. So, needless to say, the Rangers are kind of screwed. While the Rangers are distracted by a monster, Kimberly is lured out of the command center to try to save Cat from some Tengas. However, in her weakened state, she collapses before she can fight them off and is taken back to one of Zed's dimensions. Zed directly contacts the Rangers and demands them to teleport him to the command center to issue his demands for Kimberly in person. With no other choice, they obey, and for the first time, a lead villain accesses the headquarters of the Rangers. It's pretty damn chilling seeing Zed's chair in the chamber. The lights dim, the area shakes, and everyone is visibly worried by him simply being there. Mind you, Zed's one-liners get pretty tiresome, but the fact that he's actually there is enough. He issues his demands. The Rangers can serve him and to be the pilots of his Shogun Zords, or he'll destroy Kimberly, who is currently having her life force drained by one of Zed's machines. They agree, and he departs triumphantly. Cat, however, is starting to have doubts about her role in evil. Billy is able to locate the dimension that Kimberly is stuck in, but it's beyond their reach to teleport her out of. Instead, they use the portal devices that they had previously used to access the other dimension with the green candle and etc. to get in. Tommy goes in after her, but is confronted by Lord Zed. This three-parter is really the highlight of the season. Besides for a couple of slip-ups, the writing is very strong, and a few very unique things happen, like this scene, the first and only time that Lord Zed ever directly fights any of the Rangers. And while Tommy keeps getting tired and thrown around like a ragdoll, Zed remains strong, even mocking Tommy's constant hi-yahing. It's only thanks to him shattering Zed's staff that he wins, and even then it's more like a stalemate, since it's obvious that if they'd continued, Zed would have mopped the floor with him. As I said last time, Zed's the Emperor and shouldn't have to become involved in directly dealing with things that threaten his empire, but this fight really shows why he was a genuine force to be reckoned with. Billy manages to rewire the Shogun Zord so they obey their commands instead of Zed's. They've won the day, but the Falcon Zord, Ninjor, and the Pink Power Coin are still in Zed and Rita's possession at the end of the three-parter. To save Kimberly's life, Alpha and Zordon cut off her direct connection to her power coin, at least until they can recover it. In the meantime, she'll be able to borrow power from the other Rangers so she can at least morph. Also, apparently the Ninja Zords are inoperable while the Falcon Zord is out of their hands. Not sure why the hell that is, but let's just pretend that makes sense. In what is a really nice touch, Kim and Tommy close out the episode with Kim thinking that it's the end of her career as the Pink Ranger, but Tommy reminds her of how she supported him when he had lost his powers and that he'll do the same for her. Sadly, the filler episode in between the multi-parters is Follow That Cab. All it does in terms of advancing the story is show more of Kat's backstory, as well as show that Kimberly is going to try to meet with an internationally famous gymnastics coach so she can join his team. Kat's showing more and more signs of resisting Rita's control, so Rita zaps her what good with another blast of evil. It also introduces the shark cycles, just in time for kids to have new toys. What fascinates me about this episode is that it's an indication that even the criminals in the city are morons, since a car thief steals Kimberly's car in broad daylight with witnesses passing all around him. The The story arc comes to a close in a different shade of pink. The coach offers to train Kimberly in preparation for the Pan Global Gymnastics whatever thingy. Rita, being the petty villain that she is, dedicates herself to ruining Kimberly's chances with the plan of making her far too exhausted from fighting as a ranger to do so. To show that Kimberly's character has grown, we also see her worry about her duties as a ranger since she has to dedicate a good chunk of her time to training, and Zordon tells her that though he's happy that the team is loyal to their duties as Power Rangers, he never meant to deprive them of their normal lives. Just goes to show how awesome and wise Zordon can be when you're not breaking his stuff. Zed and Rita's attack is actually pretty intelligent as they attack multiple locations at once, forcing the team to split their forces. The Rangers manage to force them all together, but not before needing to pull Kimberly away from her gymnastics. After 2 consecutive fierce battles, Kim returns to the juice bar after hours to practice. As Kat continues to recall her past and how she was taken by Rita, Kimberly starts to lose her balance and gets severely disoriented. The first part ends with Kimberly falling off the balance beam and hitting her head. Kimberly is taken to the hospital with Kat watching over her. She pulls through and Kat admits to Kimberly that she was working for Zed and Rita. The others are forgiving of her for what happened considering Tommy's own history of being turned evil, though one wonders if she admitted that they've been stroking her this whole time when she was their cat. Rita contacts the Rangers and tells them that if they don't surrender Kat, they'll banish Ninjor to some evil, dark place of evil. I don't know, Sea of Sorrows they call it, but really, knowing this show, it's Evil Place of Evil number 37. Showing some forward initiative, the Rangers show up for the exchange, but they place a force field around Kat to protect her. However, the villains, of course, just try to hand them an empty jar. The Tengas attack and the force field is disabled, letting them take Kat. Kat manages to escape her cell and gets the pink power coin. Alpha detects the coin entering the hands of someone good, and they realign the teleportation system to get her back. Kimberly gets accepted into the Pan Global whatever things, but it means that she has to move to Florida. At first, Kimberly is reluctant to go because of her duties as a ranger, but the others convince her that she should follow her dreams. Catherine is granted the pink power coin, yet they don't need a big sword to transfer the powers. Interesting, isn't it? Though what's even more interesting is that at one point, Zordon suggests that Kim could later return to reclaim her place as a Power Ranger. While that never happens, the idea of taking back earlier powers is something that'll be touched upon in later seasons. And so another member of the original 5 leaves, though this time handled with at least giving the actress a send-off instead of shipping them off to a peace conference off-screen. Unlike all the previous Rangers, Kat isn't much of a martial artist and has to rely on the enhanced ninja powers to deal with threats against her. However, she does so fairly well, and while she may not be a karate expert, it was established in a different shade of pink that she's a swimmer, and later that she's a ballet dancer, so she definitely has her own unique traits to bring to the table. Which does bring me to another point that I kind of skimmed over in the last review when Jason, Zach, and Trini left the show. The thing is, when the show started, the 5 were given fairly two-dimensional personalities, but they were at least personalities, and the actors did adjust them over time. For example, Jason was the stoic leader, always determined to do the right thing and to press on in the face of overwhelming odds. Billy was the science geek, Kimberly the valley girl, Trini was environmentally conscious and served to translate Billy's technobabble, and Zach was the fun-loving life of the party. However, when they left, Adam, Rocky, and Aisha didn't really have much in terms of personality. Don't get me wrong, as I said, they were perfectly good actors, but their characters weren't given much to work with. Heck, even I would have a hard time pinning down Tommy's personality, other than how it related to his relationship to the others. Kat sadly has the same problem over time. Her inexperience was touched upon only a little bit in her opening episodes of The Pink Ranger, the rest of the time simply taking her place for the plots of the day like the others. Everyone left on the team is pretty much a blank slate. We're told things about them, but nothing that significant. After a few more filler episodes, the storyline continued with Master Vile and the Metallic Armor. The episode starts off ominously. An earthquake occurs and the sky darkens. When the Rangers teleport to the command center, they find the place and Alpha offline and Zordon is missing. Up in the palace, Master Vile, Rita and Rito's father and ruler of the M51 galaxy, arrives. The command center comes back online, their power temporarily being cut off thanks to Master Vile's arrival. Fortunately, Zordon's been working on an all-new defense mechanism for the Rangers, metallic armor that will further protect them. Wow! An entire new set of armor designed to better withstand attacks! And what will this new armor look like? Will it be some sort of ablative armor that folds out? Will it be boxy or smooth? Will it reflect their new animals? Well, the answer is, it's friggin' glitter! Yeah, thanks, Zordon. Thanks a ton for this new armor. You're still pissed about the team breaking the Zords, aren't you? I'm sorry, but the metallic armor is so half-assed, I can't even believe they bothered. When I think armor, I think the USS Voyager's Batmobile armor. I think the Chobham armor on a Gundam. Hell, I even think that armor Matt LeBlanc was sporting in Lost in Space. I do not think glitter. What makes it worse is that half the time you can't even tell if they've got it on or not because the Rangers' outfit's already pretty brightly colored and reflective of light. Anyway, as for the story itself, Master Vile insults Zed for a bit. Zed counters that they've still got Ninjor and the Falcon Zord. However, Rito trips while carrying Ninjor's jar, causing the jar to fall and shatter. Ninjor manages to escape, but not before hearing Master Vile say that he's searching for something called the Zeo Crystal. Well, I might as well call it the MacGuffin Crystal. I mean, we know this show, right? Sword of light, sword of power, various bits of technology, and other mystical hoodoo show up all the time, and yet they never have any long-term consequences beyond their initial episode, so I'm sure the same will be for this thing. Ninjor arrives at the command center and updates the Rangers about Master Vile's hope to get the Zeo Crystal. Thousands of years ago, the people of the M51 galaxy hid the Zeo Crystal in the Caves of Deception and put a defensive shield around it so that only those with good and pure hearts could ever touch it. The caves lie directly beneath Rita and Zed's palace. Why? As it turns out, Zed didn't actually build the palace. It was once a fortress for good. And while the palace has been corrupted by evil over the years, the defense shield for the Zeo Crystal remains intact. While Zordon is confident that Zed and Rita can't get to the crystal, because of Master Vile's own power and experience, they fear he could gain access. Made worse is the revelation that the Zeo Crystal gets more powerful over time. So basically, it's a perpetual energy generator. Hot damn, this MacGuffin is awesome! Imagine if the Rangers actually had access to a power source like that! But nah, they'd never do that. Master Vile creates a new monster by, throwing up an egg. Ew. The blue globber monster, however, is pretty dang powerful, able to absorb other entities. The globber manages to kidnap Ninjor again and absorb his powers. In order to keep Master Vile from ever getting access to the Zeo Crystal, Tommy and Kat travel to Zed's palace so they can retrieve it. The plan is for Tommy to go into the Caves of Deception and get the Zeo Crystal, while Kat distracts Rita and Zed by claiming that she wants to be evil again. Meanwhile, Billy has whipped up a toy Falcon Zord that will allow them to control the Ninja Megazord remotely without the real Falcon Zord. The Globber attacks the city and the rest of the Rangers engage it with both the Shogun Zords and the Ninja Zords. The Globber is of course attacking abandoned buildings, since Angel Grove's economy is in such a poor state thanks to all of its constant karate tournaments and community cleanups, as opposed to any actual businesses beyond a juice bar. The Shogun Zord's power is absorbed by the Globber, and the Rangers are forced to retreat into the Ninja Megazord. Zed watches Vile succeeding against the Rangers, and is naturally pissed off that after all his plans have failed, he's getting one-upped by a guy who creates monsters by vomiting up eggs. Kat arrives and tells him that she wants to be evil again. To prove that she's serious about being evil, she's forced into the Revileifier, a device that will drain all the good from someone and replaces it with pure evil. Tommy goes down to the caves to get the crystal, since the Zeo Crystal can also be used to reverse the evil energy in Kat. Zed detects Tommy in the caves, but isn't worried because the force field, according to him, should also destroy Tommy because he was formerly evil himself. Tommy fights off several deceptions as he makes his way towards the crystal. The crystal does analyze him, and while it first harms him because of his evil beginnings, it does finally read the good parts of him and allows him to take it. Tommy frees Kat as well as the Falcon Zord, teleporting away. However, things aren't going well for the other Rangers. While the Falcon Zord does help things, the Globber survives the finishing move of the Ninja Mega Falcon Zord and incorporates parts of Ninjor into itself. The Shogun Megazord's power starts to restore, aiding in the fight. However, because the monster is tied into Ninjor, he feels the attacks inflicted on the monster. The Rangers fear defending themselves, and the Zords fall, their energy fully absorbed by the Globber. The Globber proceeds to absorb the Rangers' power, and not even their magic glitter can help them. With the Zords down, Vile is able to take the Zeo Crystal, while the Rangers retreat back to the command center. The rest of the evil forces celebrate, though Zed mopes about the fact that Vile succeeded where he failed. Vile, being the notoriously evil force that he is, commandeers the juice bar so that he can throw a party. This is just surreal.
I'll have a hot mud sundae with everything on it, and don't hold back on the jalapenos, you hear?
Rito Revolto, party king and dancing fool. Let's mambo.
Hey, where's my drink? Come on, drink! Ah, finally!
Zordon gives them a high-energy surge from the Morphin grid to help restore the Rangers' powers, but it'll take them time to fully return. Half the team goes to check out the party, since, hey, evil forces are throwing a party and you might as well enjoy, while the others work on trying to locate where Vile sent the Zords. The Zords were sent to the M51 galaxy, and the Rangers teleport there to try to free them and destroy the Zeo Crystal. Once inside, the Rangers use their power coins to break Vile's link to the crystal and restore power to the Zords, returning them to Earth. The Globber mutates even further using the powers he stole from the Zords, but the Rangers decide they have to risk harming Ninjor by finally destroying it. Ninjor manages to restore his own power and escapes, joining the Rangers to fight both Globber and Master Vile. This battle is just friggin' epic. Multiple Zords and monsters, plus a new configuration for the Zords, as the Falcon Zord joins with the Shogun Megazord to blast Master Vile. While Vile survives the assault, he retreats and decides to stick around to help defeat the Rangers in his bitchin' Skull spaceship. The Rangers decide to break the crystal into pieces and scatter them throughout time so that Vile can never get them. Well, pity that MacGuffin will never show up again. While the metallic armor crap was stupid, this was a pretty solid three-parter, resolving several storylines while starting the one that would end the season. There was once more filler episode between this and the next multi-parter, and really its only purpose is to once again remind us of Bulk and Skull's musical talent. See? They rock so hard they blow up their own equipment. Oh, and also we bring in Titanus one more time, once again giving us toys to destroy the monster. Vile's next plan is to use a mystical orb to reverse the Earth's rotation and make it spin back in time, using the same kind of bogus science from the first Superman movie when it comes to Earth's rotation somehow meaning something when it comes to time. Zed, of course, points out that he's done this plan already and it failed, but that doesn't discourage Master Vile. The Rangers arrive too late to stop the Orb of Doom from being planted, and time reverses, reverting the Rangers to children as before. Unlike last time, however, they retain their memories of being Power Rangers, but of course they can't morph. In the wake of their apparent victory, Zed, Rita, Goldar, and Rito arrive on the planet and grow, attacking the city themselves. Now begins a plot that some people have called a miniseries separate from the season because the theme song changes, but I still count it as part of Season 3, the Alien Rangers saga. The kids are unable to contact Zordon and try to reach the command center on foot. However, before that, we get a series of antics involving the kids getting taken in by the police to protect them, and all I can say is that I'm still in shock that the city has any cops. Meanwhile, Rito and Goldar are instructed to go to the command center and plant an implosion device that will wipe out Zordon as well as the morphing grid. Oh, and get this, the command center has been out of power because it's been returned to an earlier point in time along with the world. And it turns out the power was shut off because the console was unplugged at the time so that they could use a vacuum cleaner. I'm dead serious. You know, it's not every TV show that can alternate between giant evil forces annihilating a city and the antics of a subpar 50s sitcom. No wonder Zordon can be an asshole sometimes when this sort of crap is going on. Anyway, with power restored, the kids are retrieved and they hatch a plan. While the Rangers' powers are out, they're not the only Power Rangers in the universe. They send out a distress call to the Power Rangers from the planet Aquitar, an ocean world where... Wait a second, Kid Rocky just mentioned Edenoi! What the hell? That wasn't wiped from canon? If it hasn't, then where the hell is Count Dragon during all this crap? Ah, whatever. Anyway, they contact the Equations, who answer the call and come to help. The Alien Rangers have some of the most annoying voices ever, with some kind of weird filter effect done to simulate them as they would speak underwater, yet they use it even when out of the water, which makes it difficult to understand them sometimes. But considering it's a temporary arrangement, it's fine. The Alien Rangers bring their own Zords along, given to them by Ninjor long ago. Ninjor is also absent for the rest of the series, sadly, explaining that they won't discover the temple for several years. Of course, this kind of time travel stuff opens up plenty of plot holes, including the fact that they have access to the Shogun Zords, despite the fact that those won't get discovered for several years as well. While Alpha goes out to disarm the implosion device, Master Vile assembles monsters from throughout the universe to launch a final assault on Earth. However, the Alien Rangers are more than a match for the monsters. In the wake of his latest defeat, Master Vile decides to return to his home galaxy. Lord Zed expresses his happiness about being in charge again, with his expected level of restraint and subtlety.
Yes! I never thought I would be happy to see the goody goose triumph, but Goldar, I am very, very happy!
Billy and the Equations develop a device utilizing the Rangers' power coins to restore them to their proper ages. They test it on Billy and return him to normal, but an attack by Rito and Goldar stops them from restoring the others. Instead of doing the sensible thing and teleporting back to the command center, they run off and get cornered, the regenerator and the coins being taken. Zed and Rita annihilate the power coins, reducing them to dust. So, once again, the Rangers are screwed. Eventually, Zed sends Rito and Goldar to the tunnels beneath the command center to plant a bomb to finally blow up the command center without robots disarming it. Zordon's been busy as well and has finally come up with a plan to restore the world to its proper time as well as give the Rangers new powers. He plans to use the MacGuffin crystal. Wait a second, the Zeo crystal? You mean it actually has some significance? Yes, in a brilliant move, the writers established the Zeo crystal early so the viewers knew what they were talking about, and are going to use it to set up the next season. The 5 unrestored kids will be sent through time to locate their own Zeo subcrystal and return them to the command center. For some reason, the Zeo crystals have locked onto each of the Rangers' heritage and ancestry, and they must overcome personal issues, blah blah blah, heart of the cards. The season comes to a close in the 2-part Hog Day afternoon. Rita and Zed summon their equivalent from Aquitar named Hydro Hog to deal with the alien Rangers. Meanwhile, Goldar and Rito, after several episodes of wandering around the tunnels under the command center, finally place their bomb under it. Rita instructs them to steal the Zeo crystal once it's assembled. Aisha, during her quest, decides to stay in the alternate time period to help the animals suffering from a plague with her veterinary skills, established earlier in the season, while letting a local girl named Tanya take her part of the Zeo subcrystal back to the Rangers. It's a major disappointment to see her character kinda shoved aside like this without even letting the actual actress for Aisha have a proper send-off. Kimberly got a storyline, while Aisha's last episode got her at a carnival. Well, actually, I suppose that could have been worse then. Hydro Hog, since he's the equivalent of Zed and Rita, is actually pretty damn powerful to the point where he actually stops the Shogun Zords' finishing move. However, that reaches an anticlimax when they use the Shogun Mega Falcon Zord to defeat him. I don't know if it completely destroys him or sends him home, but hey, it resolves the episode. Of course, leaving Aisha where she is screws with the time stream a bit, but whatever. The Zeo crystal is fully assembled and the time stream is returned to normal, bringing everyone back to their proper ages. They bid farewell to the Equation Rangers and celebrate being back to normal. However, their victory is short-lived. Goldar and Rito immediately come up from under the command center, swipe the Zeo crystal, and teleport away. The bomb goes off, causing the command center to start exploding. Billy tries to help protect things, but he gets a face full of energy, and Alpha teleports the Rangers out of the command center. And so the season, along with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, ends with the command center blowing up. Thematically, of the 3 seasons of Mighty Morphin, Season 3 is the weakest. It does retain the elements of magic versus technology that were present in the previous 2, but they're downplayed. Billy still uses many devices to combat Rita and Zed, but a lot of them are focused near the end of the season when he's trying to devise various ways to keep the alien Rangers hydrated. However, despite the weak themes, Season 3 is arguably the best of the 3 in terms of writing. There were far few filler episodes in the first 2 seasons, and the storylines, while occasionally delving into the realms of the goofy, were pretty strong and were great at keeping the viewers' attention. Some have complained that the season contained far too many multi-parters and the changing status quo was a turnoff, but personally I liked it. There was enough filler for a status quo to actually exist at times, but not so many that the season would get dull. The first time a Ranger is severely injured to the point where they need to go to a hospital is done, and the cliffhanger ending guaranteed that people would tune in for the next season. People have said that when Rita and Zed got married, it ruined Lord Zed, basically turning him into a second banana loser that often took the back seat to other villains. However, I have to strongly disagree. The truth is, well, Lord Zed was starting to suck at his job. Don't get me wrong, he was still as menacing as before, but he was falling into the same rut that Rita had fallen into. He would make a monster, send it out, and to be defeated in 10 minutes. The truth was that as time went on, he was simply not succeeding as a villain. But then Rita and Zed got married. Now, while Zed's personality did change a bit, it wasn't really all that different. He was still angry at failure, and their strategies against the Rangers became more elaborate, though with the occasional stupid one that always crops up when you're trying to come up with plans on a weekly basis to eliminate your enemies. However, despite him cracking a few more jokes and acting in a slightly more silly manner in his gesticulations, he wasn't that different. And really, what was on Zed's list of successes while he worked solo? He destroyed the Green Ranger powers. Okay, fair enough. What happened when he married Rita? They destroyed the original Zords and powers, destroyed the new Zords and powers, including crushing the power coins, entered the command center and almost killed Kimberly, for that matter blew up the command center, took Ninjor prisoner, and later helped destroy the Machine Empire. I hate to say it, people, but Zed was better off with Rita than without her. Bulk and Skull start demonstrating more of a sense of responsibility and morality in this season. Yes, they do bumble around quite a bit and still verbally make fun of the teens, but here they actually start caring about what they're doing. For example, while they mock an inscription on Adam's lamp, they genuinely show concern and realize that they almost damaged Adam's family heirloom when Bulk accidentally drops it. While some of the time it's simply fear of retribution from Lieutenant Stone, other times it looks like they genuinely care about helping people now that they're in a position of authority. For example, there's this really inspired bit where they spot what looks like a group of kids drowning.
We gotta save them! Hold on, kids! We'll save you!
Relationship to the teens is radically different as well. The teens support them when they decide to join the junior police force and actually admit at several points that they are friends. Sure, they're not hanging out together, but there's no longer antagonism between the two groups. Bulk and Skull can see them as dorks while not being jerks to them any longer. Plus, while they remain ineffective in most cases, we do see a couple of occasions where the two actually kind of triumph, like catching the car thief from Follow That Cab. There are a lot of good Bulk and Skull bits this season, including their training to become junior police officers, along with a catchy tune that sadly hasn't ever been released. I so want a copy of this song. Adding Lieutenant Stone, the police officer who trains them, created some new dynamics to their situations. Most of the time they fail miserably in his eyes, but you gotta give them credit for trying and wanting to do well. Lieutenant Stone will remain a part of the secondary cast through Turbo, for better or worse, and helps the two along with their character development. But that's something that we can get into next time, when we drop the Mighty Morphin title of the series and go Zeo.
Did Master Val really win? You decide.